Welcome to the Poetry Foundation's virtual open door reading. My name is Noah, and I am the Events and Accessibility Coordinator at the Poetry Foundation. I use they, them pronouns, and by way of visual description, I'm sporting a black shirt with star constellations and a fresh pair of glasses. My hair is dark brown and wavy, and I'm sitting in front of a window, and there's a pink painting to the side of me. The Open Doors series presents work from new and emerging poets and highlights writing instruction and poetic partnerships. Each event features readings by 2 Midwest writers and 2 of their current or recent students or writing partners. Tonight, we are excited to hear poetry by Natasha Mijares, Henry Feller, Jason Vasser-Elong, and Roderick James Jr. We would like to begin by recognizing that the Poetry Foundation building is situated on the occupied original homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, the Ojibwe, the Potawatomi, and the Odawa Nations, among other Indigenous nations. Indigenous people continue to live here today, and Chicago is home to one of the largest urban Indigenous communities in the United States. While we are meeting on a virtual platform, it remains important that we recognize the stolen resources and land that enable us to connect tonight. We gather recognizing that some of us are settlers on colonized land, and that this land acknowledgement is one small part of disrupting the colonial structures in which we are living. A few accessibility notes. To access live captioning, you can click the CC icon at the bottom of your screen. Alternatively, there is a link to view the captioning in a separate window, which we will paste in the chat. Additionally, tonight we have 2 ASL interpreters with us, who we will spotlight and pin alongside the speakers throughout the event. Finally, before we begin, we like to set an intention to create a relaxed virtual space together. Feel free to do whatever you need for your body and mind to be more at ease within this space. If you need to stretch or get up to go to the bathroom, to eat a snack, if you need to call a friend, feel free to step away. Take a second now to make yourself 10% more comfortable. And now let's get things started with our first reader. Natasha Mijares is an artist, writer, curator, and educator. Her debut collection of poetry, Violent Wave, is forthcoming from Pink Books. She received her MFA in writing from SAIC, the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. She has exhibited at various international and national galleries. Her work has appeared in Gravity of the Thing, Hypertext Review, Calamity, Final Poetry, and more. Please give a warm welcome to Natasha Mijares.
Hi, my name is Natasha. I use she, her, and they, them pronouns. I'm wearing glasses and a sweater vest, a blue sweater vest, and I have a powder blue background behind me. Awesome. So I want to thank the Poetry Foundation for having this wonderful reading series, one that I admire a lot, and for having me and Henry perform for you all this evening. I would like to thank Noah Fields for their coordination of this series. I would also like to have a moment of silence to acknowledge the folks that have moved on from our earth within the past 2 years, as we know, have been a difficult time. The artists and poets whose creations contain and carry their memory. So I'll hold space for them. Thank you. I'm going to begin with an excerpt from my forthcoming book, Violent Wave, which will be released from Pink Books in December of 2022. Violent Wave. There are signals our bodies choose to read, and there are signals our bodies wish they knew how to read. But they spend their body time mimicking the semblance of nests. At the free end of the body is a mouth, opening, surrounded, alarmed, or attacked, the body column itself. One of the uses of history is that the past contains much clearer lessons than the present. If the body is going to exist in one state in this region, then I'm going to be beside the anchor, colita de rana, a run in our leggings, asking where is the center and where is the pull? We can imagine the flow of time, of people, as a violent wave, a decimation of genes, this sense of the present, the duration of each need, each fiber. Here is a possible resolution to the questions asked. The present always contains several tendencies, the lengths of the fibers, central or radial, the end of the fifth sun, unlimited lifespan, both a confirmation and an understanding. Wild animals in their natural habitat, wild animals in large enclosures, domestic animals in small enclosures, wild animals in small enclosures. You are better off watching 1,000 different individuals for 1 minute each than a single individual for 1,000 minutes. A proscenium of similar terrors. The way in which a scar falls out of its nest, out of the nest, a nest of kills. I can hear the highway from my window, and I know that people are passing in their quiet, knowingly or not. People are being rerouted to drive on residential streets, parallel to highways, and the kids are yelling car, and the highways are still sky to them. As a way to appear less nomadic, I pack a little purse. Mammals are things with minds. I am barely zodiac. When I am transparent, I'm used in lamps to sing at the zoo at night. I all want. Geese take over a baseball field. There is so much food. I will spend my whole life trying to escape my body. Do you really believe that they let us walk to the gas station by ourselves? Diaphanous, you mark the ways in which a room has changed from when once you knew. There are many things on the walls now. It is too. When it is released for first time for several seconds, your study animal. With the sideways shift of visual objects, the chicks never adapted to the deviation, but their pecking nevertheless became more focused. Escape response in the earthworm. Escape response is triggered with what is going to rise out of the water. Movements of surrounding water cause the response, but hydra can live in a fairly turbulent brook. This longing to sanitize, able bear of being, the video of you rolling down the hill and forgetting the leaves in your stance, a perfect 10. A lower threshold after a blackbird has just taken a peck at it and it escaped. There is no such thing as honest math. The next couple of pieces are from a new collection that I'm currently writing. The collection is a series of haiboons, which is a prose poem that ends with a haiku. Zodiac. We take pleasure in stories about waiting. We fix our rooms to be spaces where we can molt, brine, and wilt, into the bodies that have shaped us. When there is an excess of rooms, our bodies begin to be shapeless. When there is a deficiency, our bodies begin to compound into the shape of our belonging, the hunger for certainty, resemblances as a marker of family. Within a facial recognition app, I am algorithmically related to Mark Indelicato, Anthony Ramos, Wilmer Vanderama when I'm wearing glasses, Zoe Kravitz when I'm wearing wool, and Charlene Yee. How to refer to yourself in the past tense. My Rihanna astrology is her walking out of her hotel, holding a glass of white wine, wearing a jersey shift dress and sneaker heels, while she grazes the side of one bodyguard with her red acrylics, and the other bodyguard clasps his meaty fingers around the flap of her green and black sequins backpack. She grins slightly and is not going to spill the wine this time. Grazing as a sign of connection, the only way of seeing in. Companion. One soap becomes another soap. She learned to accept the ambiguity that surrounded her. A bonsai tree or tree in a bowl, and their companion plant or grass that stays underneath. Its shape is never accidental. The hair caked into the soap, a yellow gas drain and a bright blue ball, a slice of lemon poppy seed cake and it's crumbling, a CD that has been washed of its iridescence and a twiglet. An artist makes companions in a folded map. A bonsai tree grows against a window with an oak tree gazing upon it. The gentle whisper, a green passing, or when a loved one goes by me. PNG. Honeysuckle fingers and the din of an accident unfurling. I have grown used to seeing myself in the troubled languages of ancient beasts. I begin to peel back my own dead skin, salted hairy crystals, gray or light. Several stories are about you without you being a main character. Are you in your dreams or are you just the camera? A houseplant that does not grow in any of the sunlit corners. The map of Santander is the map of your room, is the map of the waters you know, is the map of all the bodies you want to know. I can twist my hand to hold the sisters of heaven, salted, hairy crystals. Chalk clouds. I crush peony petals in my hand as I walk around the neighborhood. There are powerful people with hands that crush, all chalked from the pool table and a little drunk from losing. The cat turns its paw so you can see its pink. I turn my hand so it sees my pink. Floating buzzards parachute out of unmarked places, and they ask each other where they are going. I learn how to make a cake in order to pretend there's something worth celebrating. I sing myself an Arthur Russell song because I want to believe that I fully understand the 80s. The dipping trees and cracks in the concrete with violet root, carried through the growing. Diagram. I fear the way the body will react to its new geometry. We attach our significance to distant words, words like paramour and discreet. When the body accumulates too many words, it cleanses itself of grammar. Research is like hide and seek. Two friends listen to each other cook on the phone. The words of affiliation are buoyant like noon clouds. We rest at the inhales of others. Here I come. The words that cover us in their gender, their affect. The words we apologize for, ready or not, they baila, 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 many, 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 slip, 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 slip to me. So the final piece that I will be reading tonight is a piece that I wrote about 5 years ago. It's an ekphrastic poem, so it's in response to artwork. So the artwork will be projected, ooh, there it is, alongside our faces. So you can look at the artwork while listening to the poem. So the name of this artwork is the name of the title of the poem as well. So it's called 96 Drawings of Annie Albers, Untitled Weaving from 1931. And it is by Suzanne Bocanegra. This is the body of a woman, weaved over and under. It's a score to be sung, waxed system of parentheses, a eulogy, instruction for how to move, how to behave, when there's only patchwork. Each square, a memory erased, then drawn, then erased again, till it's only the silhouette of frayed coils. This is the story of shared language, spreading thin like a horizon, standing up like an empire. Thank you for engaging in that. Next up is Henry Feller, who is a member of 826 Shy's Teen Writers Studio. Along with my co-facilitator, Josh, we meet with Henry and a number of other teens weekly to write, edit, learn about the writing industry, and have a good time. I want to thank you, Henry, for being a part of our community and for always allowing yourself to stretch into the beyond. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Natasha. That was really incredible. If you'd like to read more of Natasha's writing, you can check out her website, which will be posted in the chat. And also, I'm going to just really quickly introduce Henry a little bit more before he comes on. I'm going to read his bio. So Henry Feller is a senior at Jones College Prep in the South Loop. After living in the Wicker Park, Bucktown area for 17 years, Henry has cultivated a strong love for Chicago's natural, poetic nature, which he finds both soaking up sun in Holstein Park and also trudging through the snow from the CTA bus stop. Henry is a self-admitted science enthusiast and is very open about his identity as a transgender and queer youth. His work appears in 826 Shy's Rising Shadows anthology and will appear in later compendiums. All right, take it away, Henry.
Thank you so much, Noah. I apologize. I'm just so excited to thank Natasha. Natasha, thank you, especially Natasha and Josh, both of you. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to really work on my writing in a way that has been so caring and thoughtful and really so special to me throughout my high school career. And I also wanted to thank the Poetry Foundation and all of the lovely staff and other writers that I've met in helping me coordinate such a wondrous experience. Thank you so much. My first poem is The Moon is Trans. The moon is trans, and I know this because of the way she basks my skin in light, sculpting a heavenly body out of clay and making me the holiest thing in the water. The moon is trans, and I know this because of the way her smile radiates off of the fish, their scales warmed by the reflection of her glistening teeth and painted lips. The moon is trans, and I know this because of the way she dances and the way she lets me dance with her. Flowing gown, sewn by the asteroid and the tear, my dress of ocean, seafoam sash, and kelp corset. We silently, gracefully revel after dark and into her disappearance. The moon is trans, and I know this because of her beauty and my imagination, her love and my awe, both of us phasing in and out of the day. My next poem is Kyneas. A maiden of sea, of sun on water, of cyan expanses, a god of sea, of shells on shore, of sink and suffocate, of shock. She, a believer, caretaker, keeper, adorner of crowns, accidental temptress. He, the power, the wind and the current, the unexplored darkness, the one that shall drown you, lest you do not pray enough. A promise. Never again will she become immobilized in the washing, the wailing, swaths of blue, saltier and stinging and screaming. The woman was what gave her away. As caretaker turned concubine, as adorner turned abused, the woman stolen from her. She said, "O Lord of the sea, make me in your image so that I will never be wronged again. Make me in the image of man, and only then will I be safe." A warrior of land, of life alone, of love in shackles. A god of sea, of shells on shore, of scream, excruciate, and shipwreck. He, a realist, hero, hedonist, masculine enough to finally be predator. He, oh great swallower, enormous maw, insatiable, forever, powerful enough to hunt the prey. This poem is called Trick Rib. It is softer to exist than to bind. My ribs crying out for air, but they know that this pain is a necessary evil. Have you ever gotten stuck in the armhole before? Neck cinched around nylon, looking at yourself in the mirror, sacrificing your breath for a moment's comfort. Their eyes still bear into my chest, and they think I am not aware of their fascination, their curiosity for the rare. It's softer to exist than to bind. In both scenarios, I'm only pretending that I preserve the masculine intimacy of a rib cage behind my shirt. In both scenarios, I'm only pretending. This next poem is Unglamorous Transgender. Where it walks, petals in circle stalking eyes, newness running over and into calcified cages. I choke out the white and make a garden out of onlookers. It is him, an eternal androgyny that is a fantasy of no one but a fantastical kind of beast. It is I, unglamorous transgender, to take in your hatred and return back this body, decorated, deadening. The sound it makes when it walks would wrap its hands around your neck, leaving you unable to let any competing noise dribble from your mouth. Unglamorous transgender wants more than anything else, to be the only one on the stage. My last poem's title is Body Hatred in 4 Stages. What is this body but unripe, and falling into the jaw of someone overeager? Incisors sink, nectar runs, and I become art through consumption. What is this body but bruised fruit? Salt-stained, soft bone, sweet flesh, fell hard and split on the pavement, its red nectar running. What is this body but fermenting, rind peeling? I soften, rotten, and I mistake the two for each other. The stench thickening the air, the cold wrapping around my spine, twisting until I fall in one stroke. What is this body but decomposing? And what am I, if not already dead? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Henry. You were incredible. And now on to our next reader. Jason Vasser-Elong is our next reader. He is a writer who earned an MFA degree in creative writing from the University of Missouri, St. Louis, St. Louis, after studying cultural anthropology and presenting his ethnographic research, Rhyme and Reason, Poetics as Societal Dialogue. Jason's debut collection of poetry, Shrimp, was published by Two Leaf Press, in 2018, and analyzes identity in a post-colonial context. His poetry and visual art are featured in the St. Louis American. Jason is back now at St. Louis as a doctoral student in the College of Education. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Jason Vasser-Elong.
I've done a lot of readings in my time, but this one is special because I have my nephew with me reading right after I read. So I won't belabor the point, but I want to thank you, Noah, and the Poetry Foundation for this opportunity. The first poem I'm going to put before you is entitled Constellation. Oh, and kudos to the other poets who have read. It's been amazing. I really love your work. Looking forward to reading your more work from you both. Constellation. From here, the drinking gourd shines just right. My arm is relaxed, folded, having slumped against an old oak so tall it reaches for miles into the darkening sky. Thinking of all the stories told and lived, how this very grass could easily give of its treasures buried beneath. Instead, it waits, like something unbound, like the movement of the sun, or of someone no longer around or chased. Memories of childhood, the growing pains of learning the hard way, to follow the path set before my feet, so much like my father's, hands molded after my mother, feeling for resemblance, walking through familiar. They found me looking up, blinking like bright eyes in a cast iron openness, watching life moving all around. That too will find its way to rest, like we all do, even stars that will one day fade, but not before it found a way to show the young how to shine, so that even then, someone will look up and see something almost recognizable up there, far away in the night. This next poem is entitled Mixed and is dedicated to Roddy's mom, my sister Jada. My sister used to switch the head of her black Barbie with that of the white one. That was what mixed meant to a young light-skinned girl growing up in the 80s, playing with the possibility that it could be that simple. She would sit for hours and play with the both of them, driving around the basement in the pink Corvette convertible, it too having lost its head. And the two of them would be pushed along the black and white checkered tile to watch the Junkyard Dog and Big John Stud wrestle it out for an imaginary title that neither one of them would win. These poems tonight are all about family. This next one is called Character. It's dedicated to my mother. Some days I would study my mother and watch how she smiled even when I knew she was hurting. Somehow her eyes were crescent moon, her mood steady like beets on the plate, cantaloupe in the fridge. Her kids oblivious that the apple circles were not apple jacks, nor that we did not have, because we always had what we needed. This next poem is entitled Magic Man and is dedicated to my father. Poof. Dad was cool. Dad was hip. Dad was a magic man. He did tricks. Dad was hip. Dad was cool. Dad was a magic man. Nobody's fool. Dad was a magic man. He'd disappear. Dad was a magic man. He'd float on air. Dad was a magic man. He'd reappear. And when you think he's gone, he'd come back again. Dad was a magic man. He'd take 4 coins and make them disappear for all the girls and boys. Dad was a magic man. He'd shuffle cards and have you holler stop and pull on out a heart. Dad was a magic man. He'd disappear. Dad was a magic man. He'd float on air. Dad was a magic man. He'd reappear. And when you think he's gone, he'd come back again. Dad was cool. Dad was hip. Dad was a magic man. He did tricks. Dad was hip. Dad was cool. Dad was a magic man, too cool for school. Dad was a magic man. He'd disappear. Dad was a magic man. He'd float on air. Dad was a magic man. He'd reappear. And when you think he's gone, he'd come back again. Dad was cool. Dad was hip. Dad was a magic man. He did tricks. Dad was hip. Dad was cool. Dad was a magic man. Gone too soon. Dad was a magic man. He'd disappeared. Dad was a magic man floating on air. Dad was a magic man who didn't reappear. And now that he's gone, we just want to have him here. Poof. This last poem that I'm going to read tonight is entitled The Sun in Our Eyes. And it's dedicated to my best friend, my brother, also gone too soon. His name was Jamar Huffman. I didn't see it then, but remember it now. The sun was already setting somewhere behind clouds. Imagining the gang all together again, bottled water and soda sprawling the deck table, trash cans pushed to the corner to give us room. Young proteges, one by one, trying to fly. Always at noon, always sunshine, but all the time in the world. Jordan, you would say, as you flew with your tongue out. Oh, how you would exaggerate just like MJ. Double pump fake, free throw line jump. Once you even connected the rim kisser like you did against the Clippers when we were 9. But time flies like the legends of our youth. Too quickly it seems. Like ice under heat, a lifetime melted away into pieces of a dream, faded pictures and photo albums tucked away or basketball finding its way from an object to be held to something sacred, to be remembered and kept, like the trophy of friendship that no one has to earn, like the sun in our eyes, memories of our past lives before the sunset and the night found you sleeping. Thank you for your attention.
If you'd like to learn more about Jason's work, you can visit his website, jvasser-elong.com, which we'll post in the chat along with a link to Jason's book, which is available in print and digitally from Two Leaf Press. Thank you so much, Jason. Our last reader tonight is Roderick James Jr., who is also affectionately called Roddy by family and friends. Roderick, or Roddy, is an 8th grader at Fort Zumwalt South Middle School. Roddy discovered his love for writing while in 5th grade after his uncle Jason's poetry book, Shrimp, was released. Following this, Roddy grew a strong interest in persuasive essay writing and fictional stories about crime and mysteries. Roddy's ultimate love of basketball, where he and his father passionately bond over their love for basketball. Outside of writing and basketball, Roddy also enjoys spending time with his family, being a positive role model for his 2 younger brothers and older sister, Jackson, Tyson, and Malaya, and playing video games with friends. All right, come on, Roddy, show us what you got.
Hey, thank you for having me, especially for my uncle, and I will be speaking for my I will be reading my poems now, and my first poem will be called sibling stories. This poem will be for my siblings that I have, and here we go. Every sibling I've met changed me. They have made life worth living. Every time I felt like I disappointed them, every time they were forgiving. We may sometimes not get along, and we argue all the time, and always in the end, everything turns out fine. I knew I don't say this a lot, but I'm going to say it now. I'm so happy to be your brother, and I'm very proud. My next poem will be Mom and Me, for my mom. And here we go for this next poem. You always believed in me. It went all according to plan. You raised and cared for me, an intelligent young man. You hated when I didn't try my best, even when time was rough. You always told me to push through it and told me never to give up. You'll always be my hero, and I'm proud to be your son. It's like you always say, I'm proud to be number one. This next poem is called Two Dads, One Son. This is for my 2 dads. One is my stepdad, one is my real dad, but they both were real role models and were very, very caring for me. They always cared for me. So here we go with this poem. Most people only have one dad. I'm lucky to have 2. They cared for me very much and more than I ever knew. I always had someone to turn to, someone to talk to, someone to be there. I never would have gotten this far, but I guess that shows they really care. I always remember my dads, even if they live in different homes, but they were always there for me every time I felt alone. This next poem, my last poem, will be Learning to Fly. This is a basketball poem. And here we go with this last poem. Some people say it's just a game. Others say it's just like in other sport. But I would say it's much more when they see what it's like on the court. I always have been pushed hard every day, and sometimes it's been rough. But I have learned to push through it and knew never to give up. There's a lot you can do in basketball. For me, I've learned a lot and made lots of friends. But once you learn to fly, your journey comes to an end. And that is the end of my poems. And thanks again for my uncle to bring me here. I'm really grateful for being here and everything. So yeah, that's the end of my poems. And yeah.
Good job, everyone. Thank you so much, Roddy, and to all of tonight's readers. Let's give one more round of applause. Again, the readers were Natasha Mijares, Henry Feller, Jason Vasser-Elong, and Roderick James Jr. Also, I'd like to give a quick thank you to our captioner and our ASL interpreters, and of course, a big thank you to all of you for watching tonight's reading. Check out poetryfoundation.org/events for our future virtual events and library programming. Well, that's all. So good night.